Yo, what's going on, Planet S.O.N family? It's your main man, JD. Thank you for tuning in. This is Drinks with JD.
Probably I was in 6th grade.
Okay.
I think that Run DMC came out. You know, back then we had a box.
Yeah.
And I used to listen to that, see that, and
For
LL
sure.
Cool J.
Yeah.
I would listen to that like all night, like, you know.
No doubt.
Because it was, you know, it was new, it was different. And that was really when rap started breaking that mainstream.
Yes, yes.
Because it wasn't, it was more underground. I
Yeah.
grew up on The Message and all that. Curtis Blow.
Of course.
All the old stuff, but mostly like my mom, she would always play like soul records, funk, and you know, jazz. My dad loved jazz. My stepfather loved jazz. So I've been around so much music, you know. Lionel Richie, my grandma used to always play it because my uncle toured with him.
Yeah.
So
Wow. That's amazing. Now,
Yeah.
when you first started getting into it, were there some family members that were encouraging, like,
yeah,
like keep going, keep going?
Yep. Actually, I took my first tape up to my grandma's. And you know, my grandma, she don't know what it's saying. You know what I mean? And I'm cussing, I'm talking all this crazy stuff, but she would be playing it. But this is one thing that, my dad, you know, he's tough with us, you know what I mean? Like super, you know that old fashioned machismo, like, you know.
For sure, for sure.
And he told me, what, you think you do music? These aren't, I'm just paraphrasing what he said. We toured like this and, you know, what do you call it? And you know, and I was, you know, I was kind of hurt, but at the same time, I was like, I'm going to show him. You know what I mean? I'm gonna really go for it.
That's what I'm talking about.
I just wasn't really serious about music. I was more into selling drugs at that time.
Okay.
You know?
Now, why the name Dido Brown?
Well, I had a street name called Bandit.
Okay.
That was my name in the streets. So I didn't want it to be gang related. You know, I was thinking of marketing, thinking of reaching other people, not so the typical, you know, homie rap.
Yes,
you know, so it can break wide and not just target, you know, to target everybody. I said, so, you know, Nino Brown from that one movie.
From New Jack City.
New Jack City.
Yeah,
you know, I loved that movie at that time. And I was always into selling drugs big and being in the streets and,
With
you know.
the card.
Yeah. And so I said, you know what? And I'm Brown. You know, so I said, oh, you know, I'm going to come with Dido Brown.
There you go.
You know, so that's kind of where the name came out, you know.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so when did you create and why did you name your label Bonafide Records?
Okay, so how I came up with the word is I was thinking of just one word on how to make this record label. And at the time, you know, I was like, man, most of these rappers, they really don't live this lifestyle. They're liars, you know what I mean? I could tell that they're studio gangsters.
Yes.
You know, I'm on parole. I'm selling drugs. I'm a full-time criminal, and that's what, you know, I used to tell guys this before. I've always been, you know, crazy, man. You know what I mean? And whatever I do, I'm going to do it all the way. And I would tell guys, they'd be like, man, I was at work. You know, I said, then bro, you don't sell dope. You know what I mean? You part-time, you know? And I was just crazy, you know what I mean? So I was like, let me come up with a word that, you know, really, what do you call it? And the word bona fide, it means real. It means authentic.
Yes.
So that's where I came up with that. And first it was bona fide music, and then I changed it to bona fide entertainment. Because I said, these guys really aren't living this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's real. I think it's all BS. You know what I mean? Because they're not, I could tell by how they rap that they really don't live it.
Okay. So it's more of a authenticity.
Yeah,
overall.
more authentic,
Okay.
you know.
So can you please speak about the idea to start hustling music and also how difficult it was for an independent artist to just be on that grind?
Yeah. Well, I got the idea when I was actually in prison. I was there for a robbery case, gun, and a trafficking. So, and I was like, you know, I got this idea. I believe God gave it to me. I said, you know what? I'm just going to sell records like I used to sell drugs, you know, and I've always worked at sales companies too. I've always known how to talk to people. That was kind of my training. I used to work at sales companies and they would send us out and I would say to myself, man, I can do this, you know, just with my own stuff, you know. So this all was a process. Like, you know, I believe I was in prison. I got out in 2000, but I said, and I was studying, I would get all these magazines on studying on the music industry and how the internet, what it was doing to the music industry, and all these record executives, they were giving out game on what independent artists how they can get on, you know,
yes.
by selling their units and doing selling merch and doing shows and stuff, and how to get into the industry. So that's when the idea got planted. It took probably like almost 4 years, because I went back out and, you know, I actually went to college. I was a sociology major.
Wow.
I took my GED while I was locked up, and I said, you know what, I just want to help kids. That's always been on my heart, is, you know what I mean? Because there was always counselors, there was always pastors in juvenile hall or in camps I was in CYA. I mean, I grew up in the juvenile system, but there was always, God always made sure someone poured into me.
Yes.
So I said, you know, I want to do the same thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because that affected my life. So that didn't work, you know what I mean? I went back to selling dope, started rapping again, you know, doing, you know, hardcore gangster music, you know. Then I was kind of like, you know, one guy asked me, a friend of mine that I used to sell dope with, real gangster dude, you know what I mean? And he said, Dido, you can't be a drug dealer, a pimp, and a rapper. You got to be like one or the other. And that's, you know, and I was like, why is he saying this? It's not going to benefit him, man. We did business together, you know? So I don't know. What happened was I had an album out. I had wrapped up a van. It was bonafide music at the time, but I wasn't really selling records. I was still selling drugs. I was still in the streets, still doing what I did. And then my grandmother died. And man, that changed my life.
No doubt.
Man, I cried like I haven't cried since probably I was a kid. And I felt ashamed of what I was doing, because my grandma raised me in church.
Yes.
And I was like, man, she didn't raise me this way, and she would be ashamed if she knew what I was doing. So I said, you know what, that's it. And my daughter was just born, my second daughter. And I said, all right, I'm just going to sell records now. So I just started selling records, just me, my son, a couple guys, and next thing you know, we start selling. Like, it started right here, brother, like right around the corner. I just drove through these. I used to have a condo right here, right when you get off the freeway right here. And that's where it all started. And it just brought back so many memories when I just drove by there right now. I drove through the parking lot. I saw my old spot. And that's where it really officially started. We started going in the streets and just pushing, selling the records, going to the beach, going to the stores. And then we started, you know, went from 10 to like a day, then to 20. And then it started, you know, it started getting more, you know. And then I sat down with some folks, and they helped us. Different people helped us out with some money. And then I had a real organized team.
Yes.
And we were pumping the streets. We were selling 50 a day, 100, 200 records a day. But before I did this, I had to sit down with all kinds of different rappers that I did music with. I said, I think this is what we should do. And a lot of them said, nah, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that. And they thought it was stupid, man. But, you know, man, I sold over 1 million records that way.
That's right.
You know, so I started really organizing, being real organized about it. You know, we pushed that record. I used the money. I bought a Benz. I got a pad in Eastlake. And this was fast, like 3 months. And I said, you know what? God was blessing me, man. You know what I mean?
Amen.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to keep doing that. So I would teach the guys prayer. That was the rules. I taught them, we always pray.
Yes.
No gang banging. These were the rules. No selling dope. And these are all the things that I used to do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we're going to work. And if you're going to do music, I'll produce it if you're going to be dedicated and committed to what we're doing.
That's right.
But we pump, bro. Like no days off.
Yes.
We would pump like maybe 16 hours a day.
Yes.
Just steady pushing records.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
If you're a real San Diegan,
yeah.
You were sold a Dido Brown album. No matter what.
Yeah,
no
some
matter
guy
what.
said, man, my mama got one, my auntie got one.
Exactly.
Everyone got one. But
Yes.
that's what it was. To me, it's like I told you, tell the guys, you know, it's like everyone has to go to the store.
That's
and
right.
I learned a lot of this too from reading up what those record executives were saying is that if you go out and sell the records, but also I believe it was JT, the bigger figure. I used to read all the magazines, rap magazine, and he said, man, I make as much as a doctor selling tapes.
Yes.
You know, I sell 50,000 units out my trunk, I make 100,000, and that was in the 90s.
Yes.
So that's, you know, a lot of money.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Now it's not a lot of money, but man, that's what happened, man. And I knew that God was blessing me, and I said, you know what, I'm going to thank God at the end of all my albums.
Yes.
Because that's what this pastor taught me in Christian school, that music was to praise God.
That's right.
And it never, like, I remember clear as day is that I said, you know what, I'm gonna thank God on the end of all my albums. I remember the devil clearly saying too, no one wants to hear that. Yeah. You're gonna lose fans and all this. But I said, you know what, I'm gonna stand on that because I've always believed.
Yes.
I've always believed in the Lord. I just didn't walk with him. You know what I mean? But this was the process that God was taking me through. You know?
And you know, another, since you're speaking about that, also on this record, one of my favorite albums of yours, you also even included the entire track was the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just thought that was pretty awesome as well because, you know, that's even an answer that, you know, Jesus Christ, you know, when he was asked, you know, how do we pray? You know, and he said the Lord's Prayer.
Right.
And you also break it down on the track.
Because he didn't say, here, say these words.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I said that prayer all my life.
Yes.
You know, but it's, and I teach on this on the Lord's Prayer a lot. You know, it's what does it mean to hallow His name?
Yes.
What does it mean to, you know, He let His kingdom come? What does it mean for His will to be done? You know, and
forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors.
And for me, that's like a guide of prayer.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
But
yeah, it's awesome that you included in your album.
Yeah. So that was the rules, and I think I knew God was blessing us, man. I was making tons of money, and we were just making records, and we started traveling, you know, the country, going everywhere. You know, I was tough on these guys. They were all young, and I would tell them all the time, "Come on, man, you act like you're a hard gang member. You acting tired. Like we're just out in the streets. Like we're just pushing records. Like, you know what I mean? If you really want to get on, this is what we do. This is how we make money." But I had youngsters, man, 12, 13 years old, like my sons, my nephews, and other little young boys. And they were buying their own clothes, helping their mom pay rent.
That's right.
You know?
Oh yeah, and I could attest to that because I had friends who also worked under you, and it was they love pushing your albums as well.
It was a blessing. So, I meet guys in the streets all the time, be like, "Man, I used to work with you for you when I was young," and you know, I just hope that I influence guys the right way. You know what I mean? Because I used to be pretty crazy too.
Well, I believe you have. I mean, you're a living legend. So you know, I'm thankful.
This right here, the Legal Boss Street Biz, that was like strictly just to influence guys' legit business.
Yes.
Because I used to think that's what my thing was. You know, let me teach guys in the hood how to take that hustle they all have, because in the hood they know how to hustle, man. You know what I mean? And they're not scared of work. You know, like the little kids, like they know how to hustle.
Yes.
But if they take that and they do legit business and put that same work ethic into it and go for it, or with all their gusto, go for it, then it'll be productive and they'll be blessed. Like, you know, and it's easier that way.
That's right.
So that way they don't got to go to jail like I did all the time, or like the countless guys that think there's fast money.
No doubt.
There's no fast money. It's long money, bro.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so actually, I bought this DVD a long time ago, right? I actually bought two. That's why this was not open. And I also got the CD over here. But the reason why I brought it is because this was before social media. You know, it was when Netflix was mailing their DVDs. You know, we couldn't stream. You know, stuff like that. So you were and you still are pumping your blood, sweat, and tears into this, right? Into your music. Where does that drive and that motivation come from?
Daygo.